believe we go from this into our first match.
Yeah, so 14 minutes in, we've got our first match. Then we've got, is that Anthena or Baby Doll? Or?
Baby Doll, I think is what they called her backstage.
Right.
This is where she interviews the fucking one of the midget wrestlers, and we don't know what the fucking political correct term is. I believe it is midget.
Small person, little person, short person, dwarf, midget, elf, whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What it is. What it is.
Look, they have to work other times apart from fucking December, so he's a wrestler.
It looks like Brian Knobbs fucked a dwarf.
I believe this is the one who also died recently this year.
Yes.
He cuts a fucking die-hard promo.
For a midget person, yeah. This Goldilocks girl's quite good though, for an announcer. She's very good looking, and
she goes along with the promo. She doesn't just stand there with a microphone, which is good.
And there we are. Jarrett's in every segment throughout this show. He's walking back, kicking things over. He's all upset because
he doesn't know that you can't wear white after Labour Day.
No, white trousers just don't work.
Well, while their entrances are happening for the first match, let's just to bring it up for anyone who has watched this show, and TNA keep this for a while. What the fuck is the point of having the cage dances?
Yeah, the cage dancers do absolutely nothing. But they're on every show. I suppose.
Is this another thing they've brought over from? Because the whole it's all filmed like WCW. From where the announcers booth are to how the camera looks, it's all filmed like WCW. And is this because WCW had the fucking Nitro Girls? Is this their same version?
Is this their extension of the Nitro? Maybe the Nitro Girls have grown up and become.
I believe one of these dances also might have been Shawn Michaels' future wife as well.
Possibly, I don't know.
I feel like there's a scene there. I feel like she was in one of the cages at some point.
That or they're just a bunch of girls they got from Hooters, but they're not. They're an odd sort of addition. We have our first match in TNA, which is Low-Key, who at the time was a big indie star, AJ Styles, who was the unknown prospect of the indies at the time, and Jerry Lynn, the journeyman, who's one of my favourites of all time. I love Jerry Lynn.
I would say this is almost prime Jerry Lynn, because most people think Jerry Lynn's best years are against RVD in ECW. I think his best years were ROH when he was the world champion.
Yeah, Lynn was a sad one, because at this period in time, the WWF have bought more or less free range to buy anyone they want and sign anyone they want. And what that does is that allows them to just blitz through talent that they could have worked really well with. And Lynn got a WWF deal. He done that awful thing where they bring him in on his first night and he wins the title, which I can't stand.
Was it the light heavyweight title?
Yeah, it was only lightweight from Grash Holly. Yeah. And it was on heat, so it wasn't even that important. And Lynn could go and was a hell of a worker, but at that time they had so many guys who could go and hell of a workers that they could afford to just blitz him and do nothing with him, sadly.
I think this is one of the things, because if he was around now, he would be the king of NXT at this point.
Christ, he'd be the Kenny Omega.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the people that was born too early in the business.
Yeah, his star was 20 years ahead of the time, and he's just the guy. Yeah. Who's this? So it's the Flying Elvises.
So the Flying Elvises I have here because is Estrada is one of them, which is the only one I didn't really know too much, to be honest. One of my favourites of the classic TNA era, Sonny Siaki.
Right, the Candido Killer.
Yep. We'll get to that point. We've got about 4 years to go.
Yeah.
And then you also have Jimmy Wang Yang.
Jimmy Wang Yang, and I don't care. Jimmy Wang Yang, and I don't care.
Who most people will know from.
And I don't care. I think he wore a cowboy hat.
Yeah. He dethrones Gregory Helms for the Cruiserweight title, but he was also in the Young Dragons faction, which was in WCW. So it was another one that got brought over. And it's a 6-man tag. It's just get your shit in, tag out.
Yeah. Have they mentioned the X Division at this point or not?
They make a quick reference to it just during this match, saying that Low-Key, AJ, and Jerry Lynn will all be fighting for the first to be crowned the first ever NXT champion next week.
At this point in time, people don't actually appreciate the fact that the WF was the land of the giants, and it was still a big man territory, unlike now. And this style of wrestling was fresh and innovative and original and different.
Yeah, because you go... I think you have to put up with it for a little bit in TNA. Because it did have a lot of good stuff, but it did have a lot of bad. But you get to around 2004, between 2004 and 2006, where the prime is Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, AJ. You have Chris Sabian versus Petey Williams, which has Chris Sabian is probably my favourite wrestler of all time, especially from TNA, because that's who I grew up with. But him versus Petey Williams, great. Alex Shelley, the people that come through that company who go on to great things. But who were just there like the X Division made fucking Matt Bentley look fucking good, the cousin of bloody Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, the old Bentley bounce.
Yeah, and like Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah.
And then the people who show up, like, because at very early on in TNA did have a working relationship with ROH. So you did have Punk come in. You did have Colt Cabana. You had Roderick Strong. You did have these people come in. Fair enough, they stole a lot of them later because they had better TV. You could pay them.
But at this point, this is fresh and it's original, and it's a hell of an opener. It's the first match TNA ever did.
This is what TNA were good at. I think it ruins them down the line because they would always put the X Division match on first.
Yeah.
And it was always the best match on the show.
Yeah.
So your work rate went instantly.
Yeah. But here we are from here. This is the first match, and it's a good one. It holds up very well today. To the standard.
This is the style of today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose it is in a way.
But you have this low-key kicking the shit out of people. I feel like he pulls the kicks a little bit.
Yeah. He's obviously not one to upset a new employer just yet.
Yeah.
Which he always usually does. But
but it's just weird that Siaki, Estrada, and Yang are the flying Elvises. It's just like, what a southern gimmick.
Well, that's based on the 300 Miles to Graceland movie with Kurt Russell, where they have 13 flying Elvises doing a sky jump.
Stereotypical thing with TNA as well is that the fact that the three men they do mention who next week will be going for the belt, Lynn, AJ, and Low-Key, they lose this match. So the three people you're trying to build up for next week for your world title are the ones and lose.
Yeah.
And the people who fucking aren't in the tournament, I don't believe, are the ones who win it. It's just like, okay. But out of this match, I feel like AJ's the one who doesn't get as much in. Because everyone knows Jerry Lynn. He gets his shit in. Loki gets his kicks in. Sonny Siaki proves that I fucking love him.
Yeah.
I believe he was very much... He got quite over in, I believe, Puerto Rico and place and the Wrestling Council and bits like that. But like Jimmy Wang Yang has... I think he was the one that wins the match, has the odd moment.
Well, Lynn gets the flippy backwards DDT thingy in.
And the gorgeous cradle pile driver.
Yes, the old cradle, which you all love.
That makes it look so dangerous, but I guarantee no one ever got hurt in it.
No, not this time. One was a bit more. It was weird because they were reckless, but they were also quite safe. So in a way. But so we have this high octane sixth man, which inexplicably the guys in the main event lose for next week.
Yeah, because Jimmy Wang Yang finishes it off with.
Right,
I believe it's it's a spiral tap, whatever AJ called. It's like his move off the top rope towards the end.
Back to girls in cages dancing, and from here on in, they love these girls dancing in cages. Yeah. Which nothing against that, I quite enjoy that, but it's not something you get away with now, is it?
No, you have to go into GTA 5 for that.
Yeah. GTA 6 won't have girls in cages dancing, will it? Girls in cages giving you lectures about girls in cages dancing.
I believe, I can't remember if this is the midget match which is coming up next. It is the midget match because I could already see one in the ring.
Do they call it midgets?
I don't know what the term is.
On screen I'm wondering, do they call it midgets?
I can't remember if they did, to be honest. I don't know what else you could call it if not really.
Wasn't this just a way for Ed Ferrara to just make little people jokes?
Probably.
And short jokes and everything else. I don't know who makes any good ones, but... Ed Ferrara's a commentator. What do you make of him?
I know why I don't like him because I'm biased only because of the whole Oklahoma stuff in WCW.
He's a former cruiserweight champion for WCW,
but he lost the belt to Medusa and then got covered in barbecue sauce because of it.
But the barbecue sauce cured his Bell's palsy. Christ, wrestling's tacky.
Didn't he also saying that though? I can't get too angry because Dr. Death is supposed to be JR's best friend, and Dr. Death was came in and was with Oklahoma as well.
I absolutely fucking love the Dr. Death Oklahoma stuff, with the JR take.
At that point, Dr. Death knew he wasn't going to make it in the business for much longer, so he was just like, I'll take a payday.
It's cruel and it's mean-spirited, but I love it because it's funny.
Bang.
Right, it's nuts. It's Little People match. Who is it?
It's high octane. It's just the whole match is just balls to the wall. We're going to go spot... It's a spot fest. It's a midget spot fest.
Hold up, was that one there the one that gave the promo or not?
No, neither of these ones that are in the promo.
What's he doing here? It looks like children, doesn't it, fighting?
Yeah.
It looks like children. What? Oh, no, I need that, yeah. Midget tries to skull fuck the other midget, and the other midget takes a flare flop. Yeah.
He didn't have a long way to fall,
no,
so it's alright.
No, true. One midget's dressed like sort of little Eminem.
I was going to say, he's just dressed like little David Flair.
Yeah. It's the David Flair Jr. That's it. Consider it's midget.
It's a midget Michinoku driver.
Yeah,
How can you not go wrong with
a
that?
midget Nuku driver. It's easy to make fun of because they're little people. And the crowd are sort of watching. You look at the crowd, they don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this sort of thinking. Except that one guy there, he's well away, but they don't quite know what to make of it because they're sort of thinking, is it comedy, is it not?
And look at the photographer. And the photographers around ringside aren't even taking photos at this point. They're just sitting there holding the cameras.
They're thinking, we'll be there for the finish, but I'm not wasting.
Yeah.
Not wasting a battery on this one.
Gets up to the top rope quicker than bloody Rey Mysterio at this point. These lot.
I think at one point TNA even mentions Mysterio, doesn't he, in commentary?
He does, because he mentions that apparently when Mysterio first started out wrestling, he was so short that the bookers in Mexico wanted to book him as a midget.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I can kind of believe, because I know obviously most Mexican wrestlers, they start very, very young.
Yeah.
So, and the height he is now, it's definitely shorter. So fast forwarding through this match a little bit. It's a very quick match. I believe it ends just with a top rope fucking splash.
Yeah.
From one. And T.O. is the one that wins it.
Yeah. Who looks kind of like Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
If Warwick Davis was doing like a gangster film or something.
I don't know.